get our next speaker on stage.
Speaking on Our Learning Happens, we have Professor Ike Elechi Ogba. Professor Ike Elechi Ogba is a professor of marketing with expertise in business strategy, consumer and organization behavior and commitment. He also holds a postgraduate certificate from École Supérieure de Commerce de Lille, Lille, France. Ike is a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing London, Chartered Management Institute UK, and European Academy of Marketing. His academic, industrial, managerial, teaching, and research experience span over 24 years. He is currently the Dean, Faculty of Management Sciences, Ebonyi State University. He also serves as Chairman of the Senate Committee on Library Development. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give a warm round of applause for Professor Ike Elechi Ogba as he comes up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do better. A round of applause for our birthday celebrant, Professor Ike Elechi.
Can I see your teeth? I want to see your teeth while you eat. Good afternoon. They said we should be quick, so we're going to be quick. And I'm done, so bye. Now, I want to say this. I've seen Edves grow, and this is our 5th year. 6th or 5th year? 6th year, yes. So, how many of you were here the first time? Not here, the first Edves. Okay, the few of you, I want to, by the power bestowed on me as the speaker this moment, I'm awarding you a degree on Edves, so you've graduated. We're moving you to master's degree, so if you're coming next year, you start your master's program. Is that okay? For those that came in this year, we have another 4 years for you before you graduate. So I'm happy to be here today, and like they say, it's my birthday. It's always been my birthday each time Edves holds, but I've always kept it quiet. For whatever reason, it slipped off and they got to know about it. So I'm happy to be with you guys, and we're going to be very brief. I was told to speak on how learning happens. And for me, I kind of wonder, why should we talk about how learning happens? Because we learn every day. We learn every second. Our existence is built on learning. And then so what I'm going to do is to cut off the grammars, and we'll do, as usual, we'll do some practicals. My expectation is that you take the practicals home and apply them in your schools. But this, today, the type of practical we're going to have will be useful for you as a person, and will be useful for your university, for your school. Maybe some of your schools will build university. Even though we have so many universities now that are so redundant, doing nothing. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Some of the universities doesn't worth existing at all. They're just empty halls full of people, young people that don't know their left and right, because we have obsolete lecturers that teach obsolete students in an obsolete university, and they graduate obsolete, non-employable workforce. That's just the truth. And because we have such a system, that's why we find ourselves where we are today. We have 200 and something universities in Nigeria, the largest in Africa. And we may say, okay, we have 200 million population. So one university for how many students? We have 200 universities for 200 million people. What would that give you? Huh? No, you have 200 universities, and our population is what? 200 million, hypothetically. So how many universities per number of students? 1 million for one student. For one student, for one university. So you have one university, 1 million students, another university, 1 million students. Million students because technically we're all students. Even if you're an adult, you're still in a learning process. So you see a situation where you have 200 universities, and of that 200, less than 10% know what they're doing. Less than 10%. And then you cascade it down to secondary schools and primary schools. Oh my goodness. The statistics, you can't even talk about it. So I was told today that I'll be speaking on how learning happens. And you have the slides. You're going to pick up the slides as time goes on. But one of the things I want us to do is just understand, where is the first slide? So we'll say, what is learning? These are the sides that I'm just going to be very quick. Learning, for me, and you know why I say for me? Because I'm the professor, so I don't need to reference anybody. I define it the way I like. Are you jealous of me? Uh-huh. So I can define it, but you cannot. If you define, I'll deal with you. So clap for me. So here we say learning is a science of intrinsic and extrinsic acquisition of knowledge. This is big grammar, just very simple. Learning is simply to take something, right? Whether you internalize it or use it around you. So once you've done that, what have you done? You've learned. So when you take your rice, what have you done? That's learning. You're acquiring it and you own it. So you have acquisition, you own it, and the last thing you do is to give it away. That is when learning happens. So the summary is very simple. If you take something, you turn it into your own, and then the same thing you've taken, you try to give it away. Because the more you give, the more you what? You receive. Is that not what we say? So if you take that in the context of learning, as a teacher, you read and you do other things to grow your knowledge, true or false. And then after getting that, what else do? You personalize it. You can't tell me that it's the same way your teacher taught you, that's the same way you teach now. Some of you, if you teach the way your teacher taught you, nobody will employ you in your school. True or false? Some of us, our teachers were a mess. But we took their knowledge, we modify it, and then we present it to our own students. That is just all learning is all about. And then so we take, we modify, we adopt, and then we share, we give out. So the more you give, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you give. So you keep acquiring, you keep modifying, and you give it out. So that is just what learning is. But what you understand, you see that each of these steps requires doing something. You can't learn by simply reading a book. When you read books, you're not necessarily learning. What you're doing is you're opening doors to knowledge. I don't know if I'm making sense. That's why you have people that are bookworm. They read all the time. They can finish so many books in months or in years. But when it comes to application, they have no knowledge. I'll give you an example. When I was director of academic planning in my university, we needed to employ someone that has knowledge of computer. And we advertised, a lot of people applied. When they applied, one of them had B.Ed. Computer Science. B.Ed. Computer Science. Another one, BSc Computer Science. These are the right people by qualification to employ for computer job, isn't it? I told them I'm not interested in qualification. Bring anybody. Everybody should apply. They all applied. We did all the paperwork, the theory side, which is interview them, and I told them next week come for practicals. They came in. I moved them to the ITC unit and told them, choose any computer you want. Just sit down. And I'll tell you what to do. First, switch on your computer, take this, the cable, connect them where you're supposed to connect them. After connecting them, switch them on. After switching on, boot it. After booting, I'll give you Excel tasks for you to do. My dear, Egwedi, Wahala Konshele. In fact, one of them began to speak in tongues. The Holy Ghost should come and help them. I kept quiet. And you believe that the person who got it right was someone with 7 Fs. 7 Fs in WAEC. Is it WAEC or WAEC? WAEC. I think it's WAEC now. It's no more WAEC. That's the person that got it right. did everything I supposed to do, switch on, boot, connect the printer, and I gave them Excel task, did the Excel perfectly well, printed out the data, and I told them, okay, take the data and go back to Excel and run frequency analysis. Pam, 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 she finished. I didn't know when I brought out the 5,000 in my pocket and gave her. Because she demonstrated learning outcome. The other one had qualifications. I told them to leave my recruitment center before I opened my eyes. Unu make una take speed. Waka. Because they're just wasting my time. And that young lady is still in our university and she's growing in ranks every day. That is when we say learning is simple. You take, you internalize it, and what do? You share it. So if you're a teacher, you can't take, or you're taking, and you cannot internalize, and you can't give it out, that's wahala. Some of us are good in taking, but we don't know how to what? Internalize it, and we don't know how to give it out. I know some of my colleagues, they'll come into the class. Today we are continuing with chapter 5. Open that textbook, open it. Oh yeah, chapter 5. Marketing is the segmentation of marketing. Do you understand? Yeah. On respond. Now, do you understand? So, when you combine products from another product, then you have achieved marketing segmentation. Do you understand? That's what you experience in university. If I'm lying, say I'm lying. And some of you do the same thing in your class. You enter your class, you be dictated. Your children, those guys, they are far ahead. They don't bloody care. In fact, you're talking gibberish. As far as you exist, you don't exist. They'll be thinking something else. This woman wastes your time, make you come out, make I do my own thing. Because you don't exist. When most of us read a lot. We continue reading and reading. When you read, you're not learning. You're opening the door of knowledge, but you don't know how to take in the knowledge. Are we making a sense? Are we making sense? So what I want to do today is just to practicalize how you can, going to the door, you know that. Opening the door, you already know that because you know you should pick books and read. No problem. But the other side is how to take that knowledge into yourself, internalize it, and then give it out. Giving it out is something we'll do maybe next year because you need to now understand how do you give it out. You may be good in acquiring, but you may not be good in giving. You may be good in acquisition, but you may not be good in internalizing it and making it your own. If you can't make it your own, you can't give it out. Right? So we'll shift with the grammar. Please move to the next slide. So let me just say briefly, this is what we do today. Currently, this is our learning style. We sit down, true or false, within an enclosure, classroom. The teacher walks in. Good morning, Mrs. Ongodogbogbo. And then what do you respond? Good morning, students. How are you? Well, come on. We are very fine, thank you. Some of them will deliberately pronounce your name wrongly because you are annoying them. You just walk in and talk rubbish. So they sit in a class, they're already tired. They're exhausted. The classroom is not appealing at all. You have walls and bricks, you have boxes, you have bookshelves. Some of the bookshelves, no book in them. And some of the books are obsolete. Which child today likes to read books? They don't like to hold hard copy. It's system. And then they see everything that is anti-learning around them. Dustbin, anti-learning. The blocks, anti-learning. The painting on the wall is even annoying. Because some of you go to primary 6 or primary 5 or JSS 1, 2, 3, you still paint flowers and Superman and Spider-Man. Who told you they care about those things? And the environment makes them not to think at all. The environment makes them obsolete, so they resist you immediately. And then the next thing you do is you force them to listen. Keep quiet. Can you keep quiet? Can you keep quiet? Not only you waka come. You want to force the students to keep quiet. They shouldn't talk. How can you learn if you can't talk? And then after listening to your annoying stuff, you move to the next thing. You ask them, repeat what we've said. Oh yeah, repeat after me. You repeat after them. Some of you, your assignment is exactly what you taught them, word for word. They have to repeat. In fact, if they miss any sentence, you mark them down. Because they are robot. You're human, but they are what? Robot. It's not going to work. So this is how we learn, and I want us to demonstrate that. You see how bad our learning system is. So we have 5 minutes to go. As usual, let's enter our classroom. Group yourself quickly. Get your pen and paper. We're going to practice what we call PLC and BCG. Just very simple. PLC is what we call product life cycle. Product life cycle, everything that is product is PLC. You are a product. I hope you know you're a product. You're a product. If you're a woman here, you're a product because you marketed yourself as a wife, true or false, and somebody procured you, acquired you. If you're a man, you're a product because if you did not market yourself properly, that woman would not have picked you as a husband, true or false. If you're a teacher here, you've marketed yourself very well. That's why they employed you in your workplace. So every human being, everything we have here, they're all products. So you live in product, you operate around product, and you have your life cycle. Your life cycle is simply how long you live, both physically and how long you live in terms of learning. Remember, there's a saying, when learning starts, it peaks, right? And then get to saturation. What does it do the next? Decline. Within 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes. So let's move to the next slide so that you can see the curve. Next slide. So this is it. So every product, everything you have on earth, anything you have on earth has this as a life cycle. That's what we call PLC, product life cycle. So it starts by introducing that product. So when you get introduced to your husband or to your wife, when you get introduced to your school where you want to be employed, when you get to be introduced to anything, that's introduction stage, a starting point. Then the other one is the growth. Growth is a point of acceptance and likeness. You keep growing. And then the next thing is you get to maturity. Then the next thing you do what? You decline. And then once you've declined, that's the end of the road. But in between them, you have what's called BCG, Boston metrics. You have question mark. At introduction stage, we're asking ourselves, will this product survive? So let's use the example of a child. A woman is pregnant. That is developmental stage. When you give birth to the child, that's what? Introduction. The child is introduced to the world. That's why they say that when a child comes out newly, the child is numb, isn't it? The child won't cry because the child is shocked. Like, what? Is this where I am? I thought I was going to planet 4. Why am I on this earth? When the child realizes it, the child will start crying. What is it? What do the children cry? What do they say? In Igbo land, they say, oh wow, this world. Oh wow, by this world. In Yoruba, what do they call this world? Huh? Answer, what do they call in Yoruba? Some of you don't know Yoruba and you're speaking. Aye. We see children, aye, this world. Hausa people, Hausa Fulani, what do they call world? Madam, what do they call world? This world? Huh? Union. Lumia. Junior. Please, who knows it? Who can tell us? T-U, D-U, D-U-A-N. D-U-A-N-I. D-U-N-I-A. D-U-N-I-A. Dunia. It's still the same thing. Dunia. And you see them cry. What are they crying? They are confused because the world is a confused place. Take that to a child being introduced into a school newly. Whether it's kindergarten, whether it's a nursery, whether it's primary or secondary, even university. They're entering into a new world that they don't understand. And what happens then? They are confused. Their brain goes riot. That's introduction stage. And if most of you can think that, look, these children are coming to a new place they don't understand, you be careful how you treat them. But because we're already dumb to that, you see a child crying to follow the mother. When the mother dropped them, say, come on, come here. Not only you, they go to school. Sit down here. Especially if the parents are out. And the child will keep quiet. That's introduction. Growth stage, the child will begin to find friends and mix with them and begin to grow in their environment. They necessarily don't have to grow with physical classroom learning. They start growing with mingling with friends. They may even see flowers that they are familiar with that will give them attraction. There are things around them that begin to grow. Then the next point, they become a star. What is a star? You're popular. Either popular in your own clique, or popular in your own larger university, or popular for the good thing or for the right thing. They're popular. Then they move on to which is star, and then go to cash cow, which is maturity and the decline. This is PLC. I am done. This is how we teach. So when it's exam time, I'm going to ask you, define PLC. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of PLC. The pros and cons of PLC. And then when you write, I will mark you and pass you. But you've learned nothing. You've only opened the door, and you've learned practically nothing. You haven't acquired any knowledge. That's what we do in our schools. That's what we do. So you have, for instance, Edves software, Edves platform is there. How many of you go through that platform to bring in things like images, pictures, stories? In the same platform. Through that platform, bring in images, bring in stories, bring in practical things that children can use to learn. This is how we teach. Let's close it. Now let us go to how we're supposed to do it. And I'm done. The acquisition point, how learning happens. Let's now look at how learning happens. The right way to do this same thing I've taught you, which practically speaking, by the time you leave here, you've forgotten this. You won't remember it. Now let's pick a school. Oh no, let's pick something very simple. Let's pick, I'm not advertising them. Edves, is it allowed to use a common product and mention the name of the product here? Can I go ahead and mention any product like Coke, Fanta, and things like that? Is it allowed? Okay, great. So let's pick two products. One is Pepsi, the other one is what? Coca-Cola, right? Yeah, are you okay with that? Remember where I started. Everything is a product. Your school is a product. If I use school system and do it, I've given you Expo. Because when we finish, I'll give you a task that you're going to handle and submit through Edves online. Are we making point? So what I want us to do now is very quickly, just next to your neighbor, 3, 4 of you, don't move your seat, just sit where you are, take your pen and paper. We have two products. One product is Coca-Cola, the other product is Pepsi. And I want you to note something. When you go back home, in your neighborhood, choose randomly 10 stores, 10 shops, 10, what do they call them? Kiosks. Is it kiosks? Where they sell confectionaries. Pick 10 of them randomly. Walk in there and ask them, do you have Coca-Cola? Do you have Coca-Cola? Do you have Coca-Cola? 10 stores. Go to another 10 store, ask them, do you have Pepsi? Do you have Pepsi? What do you think you find? Over 70% will have Coca-Cola, right? True or false? But less than 40% will have Pepsi. Okay. Some say no and some say yes. Now, can I order? The prof is talking. Keep quiet. Now, listen to this, right? You see, a good student, this is how we see whether what we're saying here is true and what we're saying is true. Already you're saying yes and no when you haven't even practicalized it. We get into classroom, we live by theory, we don't live by application. How can you acquire learning when you don't apply what you're learning? You've already concluded, no, it's not true. You see more Coke. No, you see more Pepsi. When you haven't even carried out the research. My question is, how many of you here that teach things in your primary or secondary school experiment or even go out to research? We don't. I know colleagues of mine that if they walk past you and you don't greet Prof, they'll say, come back here. Come here. Come here. Are you okay? Don't you know I'm a prof? Have you greeted me? Check the life of those people. They don't research. That's just the truth. So the first thing you should have done is note this and go and experiment. After you've carried out your research, if it's not true, then does it mean that I've lied? No. It means that in the context of my discussion, I found a different thing. In your own context, you found a different thing. What have you done? You opened the door and acquired knowledge. Clap for me now. Huh? So we'll go back to that. So that's the first task I'm giving you. The first assignment is you will go to your neighborhood and ask simple question. Do you have Coca-Cola? Yes. Do you have Coca-Cola? 1 means yes and 2 means no. Just do it across. Come back to yourself. You get the result. You've opened the door. You've acquired. We move on. So when you get to your neighborhood, you do that. We move to phase 2. What I want you to do now is this. Very simple. Which one is popular? Pepsi or Coca-Cola? Which is popular? Pepsi or Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola. Who said Pepsi? If you're for Pepsi, let me see your hand up. If you're for Coke, can I see your hand up? Statistically speaking, Coca-Cola is more popular as far as this place is concerned. So what it means that Coca-Cola is what? Star. What do we call a star? All these celebrities, Mr. Coban that came here and sang, were we not happy? What do we call them? Stars. Even though now what you call stars, I won't even call them Papando. What do they call it? The tiniest, if I would even call them shadows. Because in the olden days, when life was life, what you call a star? It's a leader that demonstrates good quality of leadership, right? People that build industries and businesses and employ people. Look at these great men here that own schools. You're employing people, you're feeding people, you're making the economy to grow. These are stars, man. These are stars. Stars are people who will go and research and transfer knowledge to people. People like you, these are stars. The people that discovered electricity, were they nude? Were they doing catwalk? Today, if you do catwalk, you're a celebrity. What are you celebrating? That's because our learning process is faulty. So we'll go back. So whenever something is popular, whenever something is well accepted, your school is well accepted, everybody knows it, and it's happening, it's called what? Star. But when it came out newly, when it's still new, it's called what? Introduction. Then cash cow is when that business, like Coca-Cola, for instance, we're using Coke. This is Coke, this is Pepsi. Listen carefully. How much is a bottle of Coke? 33, is it 33 CL or 33 CL or 33 ml, whatever it is. How much is a bottle of Coke? 200 naira. What is a bottle of Pepsi? 150. Now note that 150, 200. Remove the label from Coke, keep it aside. Remove the label from Pepsi, keep it aside. How much would that be? No price depending on your negotiation. An Igbo man will sell that empty Coke without label. He will sell it 1 million naira and put the money in his pocket. Right? Then a Yoruba man who is very effective will sell the same product and make huge money and put it in his pocket, depending on your marketing skill. So take the label, Coke label, put it on Pepsi. Take Pepsi label, put it on Coke. What do you think will happen? The price will adjust. Do you get it? So Pepsi that is 150 will become 200, and Coke that is 200 will become 150. That's the power of what? Brand. Why? Because it's a star, it's well known, it's liked, and it's also very saturated everywhere. People know about it, and it's what we call cash cow. I'll tell you this. To produce a bottle of Coke, total cost will not exceed 445 naira. To produce a bottle of Coke, hypothetically, will not exceed 45 naira. So remove 45 naira from 200. What do you have? 100 and what? 155. Then, when you have 155, so what are you paying for? What is 155 for? The brand. It's the brand, just the name. That's why you see somebody that will take 600,000 naira and say, I want to buy iPhone what? 13, iPhone X, iPhone U, iPhone Y, iPhone J. You spend 600,000 to buy iPhone when you can use 300,000 to buy the same similar phone with the same functionality or better functionality. You're simply buying psychology. That's what you're paying extra for. So at that level, that's what we call cash cow. Some schools are so expensive, not because what they teach is different, not because what they provide is unique, not because there's, in fact, a local school will even perform better. A very local community school, all you need to do is take Edves system, put for them under the tree. Under a tree. I'm not joking. Under a tree, put Edves system, put laptops there, connect them, bring those children there. 1 year down the line, this so-called heaven must be achieved primary school. I am going to the mountain of the Lord Community Primary School. My time has come to shine secondary school. With big building, massive structure, they have nothing to offer. You and I know that. So at maturity stage, because this school is very popular and well known, what do? They simply extract your money because it's cash cow. What is cash cow? Very simple. Take a cow, keep it, a female cow. Provide a male cow to her, put her in a space. She'll eat the grass, remove the waste becomes manure, the grass grows again, she eats it again. You don't spend a dime on it. You don't spend a pin on it. They feed themselves with the grass, they remove their excreta, the grass grows, they eat again. Then you milk them. Each time you milk and sell your milk. Then they give birth to a child, you sell the male, and the younger one grow, and you milk again. So you're spending minimum input for maximum output. You're spending nothing, but you're making so much. Then take a dog, keep in your house. Every time, whoa, 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 whoa. Every second the dog is barking, causing noise, polluting the environment. It shites anywhere, run around. When thieves come, they'll run behind you. Forever, you think you're the only comedian. So when a criminal comes, the dog will run behind the owner. This is the owner, and he's standing behind. Whoa, 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 whoa. The enemy comes, he runs back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then you feed the dog. You have to buy dog food every day. But for the cow, you don't spend nothing. So a product that is a cash cow is a product that you spend little to produce, but it keeps giving you money as you sell. The last one is when you don't continue to do that, the product will eventually die. That is a product, the demand is no more much. So the task is this. Take what we've discussed here. This is a 6-month course that I'm compressing. Go back to your school. Sit down. Look at your students. Take them one by one. Run PLC on them. Any student that is popular in the class, whether for good or bad reason, note it, he's what? A star. Why is he a star? Find out. Is it because he's intelligent? It may not be. It may be, it may not be. Is it because he's so stubborn that other students mess up with him, he'll hit them so hard? Or is it because they are afraid of him, so they give him answer and he writes? Or is it because he's able to memorize things? When it's an exam, he regurgitates it immediately, and you think, oh, this child is brilliant, when he's not actually brilliant at all. You do the same for that child, every of your student. You do the same for your school. Then you understand where the learning problem is coming from. You understand whether your system is a question mark. That means all the time they are busy putting in system that doesn't work. Or it's a star, it's just popular for whether the right or the wrong reason. These are the tasks I want to do. There's so much to say, but we don't have the time. And I'm going to stop here. So draw that chart, do the analysis. Once you find any problem, note it. That is barrier to learning. Sometimes the barrier to learning could even be that you're using the wrong system. It could be that you're using the wrong analysis. It could be that you are the problem from learning, because the way you appear in the classroom makes you a question mark in the psychology of the student. Or the way you appear in the class makes you a decliner. You already declined in the eyes of the student. You walk into the class, everybody is afraid. They keep quiet. You block learning. But when students, you're coming, your people are excited. You've opened the door for them to do what? Acquire, take in. When you open your mouth and talk, they are happy. Just like you're happy with me, aren't you? Say you're not happy, make I flog you. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause for our professor, Professor Ike Elechi Ogba. So, sir, this is what we'll do next year. We'll do Edves 3 days. We'll give only you 1 day. Morning session, afternoon, and evening session. Because he didn't even treat half of what he wanted to say. Please, once again, a round of applause. That was powerful. The person that was rushing me to give him time was clapping. And you're making him look like the bad person. Now I'm the one that don't want them to enjoy him. So I will have a birthday cake for you, Professor Longe, please. Yeah. He said that his birthday always falls around Edves, and he never says it. So you won't believe that it was 2 years ago I found out my father's birthday. No jokes, so. My birthday last year, it didn't come. And I said, well, the following day, come that I should send him money. I said, wait first, are you aware that yesterday was an important day in my life? He said, what happened? I said, I don't understand. Are you not my father? He said, what happened? I said, yesterday was my birthday. You know, my father asked me, you celebrate birthdays? I was supposed to be angry. The anger vanished. So, sir, whether you tell us or not, we've already known. I've marked it. Next year, I will say it. So we'll have a birthday cake for you. Please, a round of applause. So I want you to cut your Edves birthday cake. And also, let's welcome Professor Longer to join. 2 days ago was his 50th birthday. Yes. So they will cut into two. You take one. Please, we'll bring knife. And I even like it. Happy birthday, Prof. You see, and both of them are professors, so it belongs to the both of them. Please. And associate professors. Please, ladies, check your bag. Do you have knife? You know, there's hardly nothing you won't find in a lady's bag. You know somebody that brought knife out of her bag now? I beg, give us knife. You don't know your women. Anything can be in their bag. In a bag. You thought it was a... I know. Then another person check your bag. If you have wipes, give me wipes. Let's clean the knife well. Because if you check now, some of you in your bag there's generator. Women carry. Madam, what do you do with knife? Oh, she will say it's for protection against kidnapper. Thank you, ma'am. These Kenya wipes cleaning Nigerian knife. Expatriate wipes. Fair women, no. Knife. If you check now, somebody has shovel. Their head. Okay. Tissue, Abi. So you have tissue? Wow. Wow, wow. Men are catching up. I now believe, finally, gender equality. Another knife, we are not fighting, go back. This is now beginning to look like Agbero fight. I will check you. So the both of them are professors, so we're going to spell prof, not the full professor, just prof, do not cut. So sir, please, can you both hold the knife? We're celebrating your birthday. So when we say P-R-O-F, as we cut, we'll not sing, forget your voice. Cobams have gone. We would have said you should sing for him. So 1, 2, go, P-R-O-F, prof. Happy birthday. Single.
Happy birthday
to them.
Happy birthday, dear.
Yes, I thank you very much. Please a round of applause to them. Hooray! Please, let me tell you, this cake is for their two. Don't tell me that they did not share cake for me. You have eaten rice, we're giving you tea.